Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In today's Azure class, I am going to demonstrate how to create two virtual machines, KALI and Windows 2019, and connect them through Azure networking concepts. VNet and Subnet are the Azure networking concepts. So let's go to the Azure, then login. So once you log in the dashboard, click the resource group, create a resource group, select the subscription, your subscription. So my subscription is Azure for Students, and then I give a name for the resource group RG3, and the region I leave the default one. I click the create. Once the validation has been passed, okay, again I click the create. So resource group has been created, RG3. Okay, then I go to the virtual network, then I click the create Azure for Students, then the resource group what we created has come by default. Then I am going to give a virtual network name, my pen testing. Okay, so I can say pen test lab. So this is the name what I want to give, pen test lab. Okay, then region I leave the default one. Next. So it is asking, do you want the enable Azure Bastion? No need. Firewall also no need. Enable DDoS attack protection? No need. So next, we come to this. So this is the subnet part. Okay, so now we have two virtual machines. So what is going to be the subnet for these two machines? So let me fix, let's say let me say like text box. So let's say 10.0. Okay, dot let's say 2. Let's say okay, so this is the subnet. Okay, for this so in this subnet we are going to deploy the KALI machine, and let's say this one, let's say 10.0. Let's say 3. This is the subnet for the Windows 2019. So both the subnet are going to be in the same VNet. Okay, so the VNet what we are creating here, okay, is pen test lab. So this is our VNet. This is our VNet. Okay, and two subnet we are creating. Okay, so let's say let's see how to create these two subnets. So already we have created the VNet. So we are in the process of creating the VNet. So we need two subnet. So let's edit the first subnet, the default one. Let me delete this and create a subnet. Okay, so IP address space is this, and here, so what is the IP address? Let's say this 2.0. This is going to be the network ID. So let's say the name, subnet name, let's say lab 1. Okay, so lab 1, and let's say this starting address is this, and subnet size is this. And net gateway, no need, leave the default one. Network security group, no need, leave the default one. And routing table, no need. Okay, so create the add one. So now we have created a subnet for this 10.0.2.x. So second subnet is 10.0.3.x. So we will create that also. So this here 3.0, and the name is, let's say, lab 2. Okay, so we created 2 subnet. Okay, then okay, then we go for next. Create. So we have created, what we have done is we have created a VNet. Okay, the VNet name is Pentest Lab, and then we have created 2 subnet. So one is lab 1 and another one is, let's say, lab 2. Okay, so we created 2 subnet, and now what we are going to do is we are going to create virtual machines. Okay, so let's create a virtual machine. So Azure for student, and the group is RG3. Virtual machine name, let's say KALI, and region I leave the default one. Then availability options, no infrastructure. Already I told you this is fault tolerance, redundancy, redundant servers or rack you need, then you have to go for other options. Otherwise you select no infrastructure, redundancy. Security type, you can go for standard. Then the image, you have to go and select a KALI. Okay, you can select, type here KALI. So you can click KALI here, you get the overview, and then you can go select and select the appropriate version. I select 2023. Okay, then I go to the size, so I go to the 3.5 GB memory. Then I go for the authentication to connect with the KALI from our machine, local machine. So I go for password authentication, and the password authentication so let me say this Azure admin and ABC at 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is going to be my password. So Azure admin and password is ABC at 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and ABC at 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is the password. Then the regarding the firewall, so I want to allow the SSH port to connect with the machine. Okay, and then review and create. No, we made a small mistake actually. Previous, I come to the previous one. Previous. So after this, load balancing options none, delete this and all, leave it. So I think up to this it's clear for you, right? Okay, here we were standing here actually. So after this, so I told you to click the create. Now what exactly you have to do is, we have not yet done with the VNet subnetting. So what you do, go to next. So disk part, leave the default. Then networking, virtual network, you select the Pentest lab. This is our VNet. You can see we created the VNet in the beginning, so its name is Pentest lab. So select the VNet, and then we have two subnets, lab 1 and lab 2, two subnets we have. So we have planned to give lab 1 subnet for the KALI machine. Okay, so you select the lab 1 for the KALI, and then public IP address. Yes, we need a public IP address for the KALI so that we can connect from our machine. So NIC network security group, leave the default one. Public inbound ports, allow the SSH 22, because then only we can connect with the KALI Linux, otherwise we cannot connect. Okay, load balancing options, no need at this moment. We don't need any load balancing. Okay, so next, so leave the default one. So now we are creating the virtual machines. So this KALI machine would be created in the subnet lab 1, and the lab 1 subnet is in the VNet Pentest lab. Okay, so validation is over. So again you have to click the create button. So let us waiting for the creation of the KALI Linux virtual machine. Once it is done, we will go for the next virtual machine, that is the Windows Server 2019. So until this process gets completed, we can go to the second virtual machine, but I think better we wait. Okay, let this process take some time. I think it's taking some time. Let it complete. So we have to create one more virtual machine. This virtual machine 2019 server in lab 2 subnet, and lab 2 subnet is in the VNet, I mean Pentest lab VNet. Okay, so we go to virtual machine again, and then click the create Azure virtual machine, and then select the subscription. Suppose you have more than one subscription, be careful. you have to select the same subscription for both the virtual machines. Okay, Azure for students is my subscription. Then the resource group also should be same, RG3, and virtual machine name, this is going to be Windows Server. Okay, and then the region I leave the default one. Availability zone, I told you no infrastructure, and security type I told you standard already. And the image, this time you are going to go with Windows 2019 server. Okay, and once it is done, then we go down and we select the size of the RAM. So usually I go for this recommended by image publisher. So under that, usually I go to the lowest memory, which is enough. So I go for 3.5 GB memory, and this is the processor capacity. And then I go for the username, already I told you. So I prefer this credentials always. Okay, Azure admin, then ABC at 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then ABC at 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, then I go for this bounce. So here the port, through which port you are going to access the Windows server. You remember in the previous virtual machine it was Linux, Kali Linux. So we selected the SSH port, but here in the Windows we are going to connect with the Windows Server operating system using the port 3389 RDP protocol. Okay, remote desktop protocol. So I select the RDP. Okay, in case you want SSH also, you can select SSH, and in case you are going to configure the web server, you can configure HTTPS and HTTP. Okay, so that is not under the scope of our discussion today. So I go to this create. I made again the same mistake. So we haven't selected the subnet. So I click the previous. Okay, so you can see at the top I go to the networking, and in the networking, please understand the VNET is Pentest lab, but subnet, you can see the subnet I told you, it is going to be 10.0.3 lab 2 subnet. Okay, so what I am going to do is I am going to select the subnet lab 2 for this, and both lab 1 is for the Kali Linux, and lab 2 for the subnet is for the Windows server. That we are going to deploy in two different subnets, and both are going to be in the same VNet. And okay, so this machine also you need a public IP. Yes, we need the public IP to connect with the server, and this all these things are already we have selected, no need to disturb anything. Load balancing options none. Okay, then you can review and create. So once the validation is over, click the create button. So now the second virtual machine is created. So now we have created two virtual machines. One is Kali in subnet lab 1, Windows 2019 in subnet lab 2. But the question is, can we create these two virtual machines in the same subnet, or can we create this two virtual machine in a default VNet? Yes, you can do, but what I am trying to do in this class is, along with creating two virtual machines, I want to demonstrate the concept of VNet and subnet to you. So that's why I am implementing the VNet and two subnet and demonstrating that. Is it clear to you? Even without explicitly creating the VNet and the subnet, we can create a network among two virtual machines. It's possible. So now you can go to the virtual machines. Okay, so select Azure for your subscription you have to create. Okay, so what I did is just if I have more than one subscription, so if I am not selecting the correct subscription, our virtual machines won't be displayed, because these two virtual machines we have created under Azure for Students subscription. Okay, so in case if it is not selected, you select and click apply, so the virtual machines would be displayed on the dashboard. Okay, now we have the Kali and Windows Server. So let me run both the Kali and the Windows Server. First let me go to the Kali. So Kali, this is the public IP of the Kali. Okay, so let's go to this. So Kali is having this public IP address, and let's see what is the public IP of Windows Server. So this is the public IP of Windows Server. Okay, so now let's connect with the Kali. Okay, so you want to connect with the Kali, then you need what you need is, okay, you need Putty or Putty software. So if you want to connect, you need Putty software, and if you want to connect with the let's say Windows Server, then you need so in the Windows Server there is a client program for RDP protocol, so using that we will connect with that. Okay, and then after that we will try to ping from Kali to Windows Server, and server to Kali we will try to ping. Once the ping is successful, then let us try to use Nmap program in the Kali to scan the Windows 2000 server, 2019 server. So first let's go to the Kali. So we know what is the public IP address. Okay, so this is the public IP of Kali. So I told you, if you want to connect with Kali or any Linux, you need a software that is called Putty. Okay, so this program Putty, you can go to this putty.org and you can download this. Okay, so once you download, okay, once you know the public IP, so you can go to the Putty and paste the public IP and click open. Then it is asking us to accept the key. Yeah, accept the key. So the screen is very small, so I just want to adjust the settings. So you can see this Azure admin and password, ABC at 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So finally we are connected with the Kali Linux. This is running in the cloud Azure. Okay, so first thing what you have to do is sudo apt update. So you have to update immediately. Then I want to know what is IP address. So it is not installed, so you have to install that. Click Y and install the ifconfig. So ifconfig. Now you can see that the IP, it has allocated a IP in the subnet 10.0.2. okay, subnet 2 lab 1. So IP is 2.4. okay, it is in subnet lab 1. okay, Now we need some softwares like sudo apt, let's say install nmap. Okay, so we need nmap. So nmap is finished, and similarly if you need sudo apt install, if you need nano, that is very important program, so please install that also. Okay, so we have nmap, we have the nano. Okay, and you need like some other programs like wireshark, you can install them. Okay, now let's go to this let's go here and note down what is the private IP of this machine. Okay, so the private IP of this machine is going to be this 10.0.2.4. okay, so you can see it is matching with the subnet 10.0.x. okay, so now we have to connect with this system. So I copy this public IP, and then I go to Windows, our host operating system. So you just click RDP, type RDP, and you can see remote desktop connection app. Then paste the public IP what you have allocated by the Azure to your Windows server. Okay, so this IP. Okay, so copy here, then click connect. So again it is asking the credentials. You know what is the credentials? Azure admin. Okay, A B C at 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, easy to remember. Okay, for educational purpose it is enough. So it is asking, do you want to accept the certificate? Yes, accept the certificate. Okay, wait for some time, and now we are connecting to the Windows 2019 server. Okay, so this is opening from the Azure cloud. So let's wait for some time for the server to load and get settled. So we are in the server operating system. Okay, so now here what I want to do is, first thing is, let me check what is IP address. IP config. Now you can see what is IP address 10.3.4. you see different subnet. Okay, then I want to it's a little bit slow now because of slow network. Okay, it would be consuming too much bandwidth. what I want to do is I just want to go to control panel, and I want to close the firewall. Why am closing the firewall? Because it is not under the scope of our class today. I want to do some scanning from the KALI. So I want to close the firewall in the Windows server, and I want to ping, like, first let me check whether the KALI is reachable. 10.0 dot, let me enlarge the screen. It's very slow now. I feel the difference now. The system has been very slow, maybe networking. So 10.0.2.4 is that machine. So you can see it's pinging. So we are pinging the KALI from the Windows server. You can ask one question. So what is this question is, this is different subnet and this is different subnet. By default, the packets cannot be routed from one subnet to another subnet without routing protocols. But in Azure, actually, under one VNet, okay, so under one VNet, if you create any number of subnets, so all the machines inside the subnet, okay, reach one another, can ping one another. They are virtually connected to each other. So because this subnet, two subnets are under one VNet, so by default they are virtually connected to each other. They know each other, so they can route the packets between these different subnets. The machines in the different subnets can route the packets among themselves, within themselves, because they are in the same VNet. Is it clear to you? So now let me go to this KALI. So I ping, let's say 10.0.3.4 is that Windows server. So I am able to reach that machine. So now we start the ethical hacking lab part. So let me say I want to sudo su. Okay, so I became the admin. Then nmap, okay, -s, capital S, okay, we so let's say 3.4. So you can see this we have some issues. I'll fix it. So now you can see I did nmap -sa, then it has scanned the Windows server and it has found the operating system, okay, and also it has found 1000 scan ports are in ignored states. That means the firewall is off. Okay, the firewall is off. So similarly you can practice like many let's say this. So now you can see these are the different ports that are open in the Windows Server operating system. Then let's say -o to okay, so to fingerprint the operating system. So you can see what's happening is it's trying to fingerprint the operating system. So Windows, okay, so I put -v, it's called verbose. You get more information about the target machine. So you are getting the information about the target machine. So you can figure out the operating system from about this. From here we can figure out that the server is a Windows server, even though the information here are not readable format. So students, this is how we perform the pen testing. This is how we can create a pen testing lab in the Azure cloud, okay, and then perform the pen testing lab. So let's quickly do the recap of what we have done. So we created a VNET named Pentest Lab. In that we created two subnet, lab 1 which has this network ID, and lab 2 is another subnet, this is the network ID. So in that we created, in the lab 1 subnet we created the KALI virtual machine, and this is the public IP of the KALI, and this is the private IP of the KALI. And in the subnet 2, that is lab 2, we created the Windows 2019 server. This is the public IP of the server, and the private IP is 10.0.3.4, okay, 3.4. and we connected with this virtual machine KALI through the PuTTY software, client software, and the Windows 2019 we connected through the RDP, okay. And then what we did, we removed the firewall in the 2019 host based firewall, we removed, and then we pinged, and then we installed some softwares in the KALI like Nano is by default existing, ifconfig, nmap, and yeah, these two programs we installed, and we updated the KALI also. Then we pinged, and then we used the nmap to scan the Windows 2019 server. So this is what I have for today's session. Thank you very much.